Everybody, welcome back to the Sports Place where we talk sports and have sports debates. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe below, hit that notification bell, and let's get the show started. All right, so there's been kind of a rash of fans abusing players at these NBA games as they go so far as like Trae Young getting spit at, like gross. So what do you think the NBA should do about that? I know that they have, banned some, if not all, of these fans from their arenas, but do you think that's enough?
Me personally, I'm going back to the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. We see how that reacted and how all that played out when a fan decided to throw some things on the court. So if that was to happen in this day and age, the players would be locked up, everything would go to shit. It's just crazy how like there is no respect anymore. There's always been a certain level of dehumanizing athletes in the professional realm. Even when it comes to fantasy football, if a guy get hurt, they like, what the hell? My fantasy goes to trash. What about that guy's family, his mental health, all these things that come into play? He's not just a sports athlete. He's not just your favorite player. He's a human being. And that's what people fail to realize, that when it comes to this subject, these people are human. Yes, they make millions of dollars. Yes, they are on TV. Yes, they are famous, but they are still, at the end of the day, human beings, and they're not being treated that way. For a fan to ever feel like he can spit on a player, I've never seen that in my life. And for the fact that he didn't even know he got spit on, he had to go home to social media and find out, it's crazy because there are a million cameras in that facility at all any given time. And I know somebody's seen it when it happened and no one did anything.
Right.
With Russell Westbrook, he was going off the court from an injury, already stressed and drained from the game he's been in. He's been playing his heart out. They're not getting the results that they want. And somebody decides to put popcorn in his head. Kyrie Irving, coming off a good game, they're winning, they're cooking. A fan decides to go bottle in Boston. Granted, that's his old team. Granted, there's bad blood, but still, you don't have the right to ever do anything like that to anyone. The guy from Boston got arrested. Thank God. He deserved that, whether it was a bottle or a fist or anything. You throw something at me, that's assault. Because if I was on the street and I decided to push you, I'm going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as an athlete, you're going to do everything you can to get me to react so I can get in trouble. So I'm happy that that guy got arrested. I don't know if he's in jail now. I don't know if he's doing any time, but I hope he does. I hope he goes to court and they give him a year minimum or something like that. He needs to learn his lesson. And then as far as the fans spitting in a pandemic, like that guy should be doing 10 years. 10 years in jail. That's like the guy who was, excuse me for going to the extreme, but that's like the guy who was going around purposely giving out HIV to women in the world, knowing he had it. That's in my head. Like, you have to go to screen because you don't know what this guy has. You don't know what he's been through. You don't. It's a pandemic at the end of the day, and he really chose in his mind to spit. I feel like if players are being assaulted, they should be able to retaliate the way they see fit. If I feel like if someone is disrespecting me or hurting me or trying to do harm to me, just like I will be in the streets, if you try to do harm to me, I'm going to retaliate. But these fans know that the players cannot get to them, so they do what they want. And the arenas are going to ban them. So what? I can go home and watch the games on TV. You're not really doing anything to hurt me. Or I can go to the next city and watch the game if I want to. You're not banning me from every stadium across the country. So at the end of the day, it needs to be more policing. But there's nothing that they can do except the fans have to realize that they're wrong. And
Where
say
do
that
you think, why do you think it's all of a sudden happening now? Do you think it has anything to do with, I mean, I know it's always kind of been a thing, but do you think it's now showing more than before, like in this short period of time, because there are now fans back in? And I don't know, like why now? Is it they're not used to behaving like adults in public anymore? Because they haven't had to for a while?
I really can't say why, because I feel like it's definitely always been done.
Hmm.
But I just feel like it's being caught more. And they're
I think
doing
right
it to
now it's just been
continue to
back to
play.
back to back. Like every day we hear somebody else had something thrown at them or dumped on them, or their families are being attacked in the stands. Like not verbally attacked, not physically, thank God. But still, like none of this is acceptable. So I don't know, like what can they do about it besides a victim from the game and not let them come back. But actually, at this point, I don't know how many of them have been kicked out during the game. I know the guy that, like you said, the guy that spit on Trae Young, they didn't catch that until later, or they didn't bring it to attention until later. So, but he wasn't even a season ticket holder. So what is he losing? He can't come back. Okay, he'll go to another. He's in another city. He can go see another game.
Man, I feel like at the end of the day, it needs to be jail time. They have to make an example of these people because at the end of the day, if an NBA player or NFL player, any professional athlete was going in the stands to defend himself, he would be hit with a lawsuit. He would be fined by the league, and he will be probably, if the person chooses to press charges, he can go to jail time. So I feel like there should be minimum charges for these people doing these things in these arenas. But at the end of the day, you're not. There are rules to the arena either way. You break the rules to the arena, that should be some type of stipulation with the law included, especially if you're trying to cause bodily harm to the players. That's my opinion. How do you feel about it, Benny?
So there's a lot to unpack there, and I agree with a lot of with what you said. Um, Erica, you posed a good point too, especially with why is it happening more often even now, as opposed to it's kind of back to back to back in a shorter amount of
Mhm.
time. So I'm gonna try to take it from the top and try to go down. But the initial question essentially was, what are we doing about these fans? What can be done? Um, I'm from an era where you can talk what you want, but don't put your hands on me. Don't there's a line to be crossed. Like if you sitting there yelling at me, oh you suck, blah 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 from the stands, that's all well and good. We've both played in situations and stadiums where the crowd is right here, and you're trying to listen to the
Yeah.
coach, and they're like blah blah blah. They're doing all types of stuff, and distractions are a part of the game. Crossing the line is throwing. Crossing the line is spitting. Bringing up, Savon, you brought up a great point. During the pandemic, during COVID, are you crazy? I absolutely believe it should be some type of assault and battery charges attached to that. I don't think there's. I think there's stuff that everybody can do to improve the situation. I think the NBA can try to find those holes where people can toss stuff and put shields around them. Maybe put them even further back. This is now front row seats. Cost $10,000. Make it higher. Like jack up the prices because now you're endangering people. There's other things you can do with I don't want to say jails in the stadium, but Philadelphia has one, so why not? I think there should be a registry. You get banned from one stadium, you get banned from them all. You get banned from one NCAA stadium, you get banned from them all. There should be a registry. You are unruly fan. There's tons of fights. There's always tons of even between fans. I mean, we're talking specifically in the NBA, but there should be a registry, and then there should be civil charges. The NBA, the Players Association, should be bringing civil charges against these people and making an example of them. You cannot do this. This is not acceptable. You can jeer, you can be loud, you can make all the noise you want, but you cross the line when you harm us, when you physically harm us. Obviously there's mental harm that these players take with all the jeering anyway. But when you really cross the line when there's physical harm, when you're trying to hurt me, when you're trying to prevent me from doing my job, you think it's spit, it's COVID. You think it's popcorn. I'm already walking away from an injury after playing the game. You think it's a bottle? I don't know what's in the bottle. They threw batteries in Philadelphia. They have all those wild stories about people throwing stuff and throwing snowballs. Stuff hurts, and if I get hurt outside the game, that really, really, it would really piss me off. I was trying to find a nice way to say it, but it really pissed me off.
One thing that you said that like caught my attention, and I don't disagree with you, but it seems like you're saying that we have to childproof the stadium to get adults to act like adults. That just it. I don't disagree, but it's mind blowing that it's come to that. Like you don't know how to behave like a civilized person. I don't get it. Like what makes you think it's okay to throw something at somebody doing their job or spitting on them is just a whole nother level.
That's
But
Even
wild.
going to the extreme as far as like a lot of these fans are drunk. If they have to take away alcoholic beverages, even beer from the leagues, if they have to do breathalyzers going in, if you're over the legal limit, you can't come to the game. Like they're making it, and it's not every fan. That's what I'm saying. It's
no,
not every fan. That one
No.
fan can ruin it for everyone though. Because Madison Square Garden, it's their first time in the playoffs in years. They just get fans back. Imagine that after that first game where the fan does that, they no fans come back. Imagine how everybody get penalized for one person's actions. And I feel like sometimes you have to take it to that extreme because there is no real consequence to these fans. They can always watch the games. There's always ways to watch the games. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they're not really losing out on anything except for the in-game experience where they already had that probably 10 times in their lives. You know what I mean? It's not that important to these people anymore. And a lot of people come to these games just to heckle the players. And I feel it. You know what I'm saying? I've been to, like, it's a part of the game. You got to be able to block out what's going on around you. But at the same time, when it comes to you stepping on the court, or you even the fans trying to run on the court and stuff like that, you come in anywhere near me when it's unwarranted, I have the right to retaliate any way I see fit if I was on the streets. Just like Westbrook said, you wouldn't do that if you see me walking with my family. You wouldn't do that if you see me by myself. You wouldn't talk about my kids if you know what I mean? It's things like that that you know you wouldn't do if you knew that person can get to you. If you
Right.
seen Westbrook walking on the street, 6'5", 6'6" Westbrook, you're not pouring popcorn in his head when you're about 5'9". You probably can't even get up there. But at the end of the day, it's a respect that has to be given to these guys as men, as human beings, and they're not getting it from these other people that's in the stands. And I feel like there should be more stipulations to what happens to them.
I think too that another thing that might be happening is they're looking at it like the player has so much to lose and they don't have anything to lose. Like the player is in a position where if they react in a way that, you know, the league doesn't find appropriate, they can be fined, they can be, you know, they have harsher penalties than the fan that just gets kicked out. Like there, there needs to be, I don't know that I can say equal penalty, but it has to be appropriate, you know? Like you're putting this man in a position, because we're talking NBA, so you're putting this man in a position where he is forced to basically not be able to react to you in any natural, significant way. That's it's just for all lack of better terms, it's just not fair. It's not right. It's
Yeah, but like Bimmy was saying, it should be some civil things involved because at the end of the day, you're disturbing the peace. And if you want to
Mhm.
street, you would get fined, you would get cited. So
Yeah.
same thing in the stadium. Send them a $500,000, no, $500 fine, $1,000 fine, things like that. It depends on and they make it. If they in that $10,000 seat area, hike it up. They deserve to be penalized for what they done. Because at the end of the day, they're walking out smiling, laughing. They feel accomplished. Oh, I'm on TV. I did this to this guy, and they get to hold that for the rest of their lives. That's their claim to fame. Wow, I have to go home and deal with what I had to deal with as a man, and I couldn't retaliate the way I wanted to. And if they want to be a replay of the Pistons in Detroit, how those fans got their ass whooped, excuse my language, then sometimes hey, you might have to go up in them stands and teach somebody a lesson. But
give them what they want.
hey, it's not much more we can say on the situation. Fans, at the end of the day, grow up, be adults. If you come to the game to watch the game, enjoy watching some of the best players on the planet because that's what you're there for. Be a fan. If you don't want to be a fan, catch them in the parking lot or catch me in the streets and do what you got to do. But you guys can catch us next week on the Sports Place. We appreciate you guys for coming out. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell, man, and let us know what y'all think of us, man. Appreciate you.